Wow. January 2nd, self-observation without judgment. Release the harsh and pointed inner voice. It's just a throwback to the past and holds no truth about this moment. Let go of self-judgment. The old learned ways of beating yourself up for each imagined inadequacy allow the dialogue within the mind to grow friendlier and quite swift out of inner criticism, and life suddenly looks very different. I can say this only because I make a choice 100 times a day to release a voice that refuses to acknowledge the real me. What's needed here isn't more prodding towards perfection, but intimacy, saying clearly and impressing what I see. Love, not judgment, sows the seeds of tranquility and change from my one soul. Breath of life. Breathe in all that is awareness expanding to take everything in, and if my heart beats the world into being from the unnamed vastness beneath the mind, I breathe my way to wholeness and healing, inhalation, exhalation, each breath a yes and a letting go, a journey and a coming home, awakening now. Why wait for your awakening? Do you value your reasons for staying small more than the light shining through the open door? Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Now is the only time you have to be whole now. Now is the sole moment that exists in the life. Live in the moment of you, true nature. Perfection is not prerequisite for anything but pain. Perfection is not prerequisite for anything but pain. Please, oh please, don't continue to believe in your stories of deficiency and failure. This is the day of your awakening, birthright. Despite the illness of body and mind, in spite of the building despair or the habitual belief, who you are is whole. Let nothing keep you separate from the truth. The soul illumined from within long to be known for what it is. Undying, untouched by the fire or the storms of life, there is a place inside which where stillness and abiding peace reside. You can ride the breath to go there. Despite the doubt and the hopeless turns of mind, you are not broken. Spirit surrounds, embraces, fills you from the inside out. Release everything that isn't your true nature. What's left, the fullness, the light and the shadow, claim all that is your birthright. Walk slowly. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still, and just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we all across the finish line, that walking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make a choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. Allow. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt containing a tornado, dam a stream, and it will create a new channel. Resist and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear, the fantasies, failures and the success, wind, loss, rips off the doors of the heart, and sadness veils your vision with despair. Practice becoming simply bearing the truth and the choice to let go of your known way of being. The whole world is revealed to your new eyes from go in and in. Heart of Yoga, limitless. Sun says, be your own illumination. Rain says, sing your heart out all day long. Stream says, do not stop at any obstacle. Oak says, when the wind blows, bend easily and trust your roots to hold. A star says, when you see is one small slice of a single modest galaxy, remember that vastness cannot be grasped by mind, and says small does not mean powerless. Silence is nothing. In the quiet, everything comes clear. I say limitless. I say yes. The open door. A door opens. Maybe I've been standing here huffing my weight from foot to foot for decades. Or maybe I've only knocked once. A truth, it doesn't matter. A door opens and I walk through without a backward glance. This is it. Then one moment of truth in a lifetime of truth. A choice made, a path taken, a gravitational pull of the spirit too compelling to ignore any longer. I am received by something far too vast to see. It has roots in antiquity but speaks clearly in the present tense. Be, the vastness says, be without adverbs, descriptors or qualities. Be also alive, that awareness bears itself uncloaked and unadorned. Then go forth to give what you alone can give. Awake to love and suffering, unburdened by the weight of expectations. Go forth to see and be seen, blossoming, always blossoming into your magnificence. Who you are. Who you are is so much more than what you do. There's sense shining through your heart, soul and center, the bare and bold truth of what does not lie in your to-do list. You're not just at the surface of your skin, not just the impulse of the arrange the muscles on your face into a smile or a frown, not just boundless energy or bone-wearing fatigue. Dwell deeper. You are divinity, the vast and open sky of spirit. It is the light of the God, the emperor at your core, the passion, the presence, the timeless, deathless essence of you that reaches out and touches me. Who you are transcends fear and turns suffering into liberation. Who you are is love. Let go. Let it go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans, the dreams and expectation. Let it all go. Save the strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight when there is what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear and desperate attempts to flee from your energy you long for. Let go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you received it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against the invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find explanations. Take that it seeks, but you will move forward, nothing less. Nonetheless, let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to the unknown shores beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go and find a place of rest and peace and certain transformation, breaking all the rules. There are moments when rules are meant to be broken, when bursting out of context is the sole way to see it with new eyes. There are fences built only to be torn down. The slats look solid, but no one drove the cells in tight. There are barricades around the heart asking to be breached. Sooner or later, we all run out of excuses for staying small and safe. Let go of something. Let go of something somewhere. Use yoga to become aware, to touch with lies beneath the surface of the skin. Is there the tension longing for release? They are not of fear so deep and familiar that you believe it's a part of who you are. Ease into the dark corners, locked room, and explode hallways. Gain entry not by force of will, but only by softness. Enter on the wings of the breath and turn the key of the self-acceptance to let go of something somewhere. Whatever doesn't serve. What weight can you put down right now, willingly relinquishing the pointless quilts of guilt or judgment? What burden of the heart can lift? What dark corner can be lit? The candle flickering at first, then burning bright. With the next breath, let it go. That old story you have told yourself 1,000,000 times, whatever doesn't serve you do on this path of truth, leave it behind. Offer this one gift, the simple sacrifice that is in the giving. Sets you free to fully live. This is what I have to say to you. You know all that you need to know. You already are all that you need to be. It remains only for you to recognize and acknowledge who you are, what you know, and the powerful presence that is awake within you. You think of yourself as fragile, but you are in fact as strong. You sometimes feel alone, but you are in truth connected through its spread to all beings. Believe in this connection. Believe in yourself. This is all you need to do. For all is well. The journey. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began. Though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble and you felt the old tug at your ankles meant my life. Each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do. Though the wind pried with his stiff fingers at the very foundation through your melancholy was terrible. It was already late enough and a wild night, and the road full of the fallen branches and stones. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of the clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the one thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save, lingering in happiness after rain, after many days without rain. It stays cool, private and clean under the trees from the dampness there, married now to gravity, falls branch to branch, leaf to leaf, down to the ground, where it will disappear, but not, of course, vanish, except to our eyes. The roots of the oak will have their share in the white threads of the grasses, and the cushions of the moss, a few drops, round as pearls, will enter the mold, stun it, and soon so many small stones buried for 1,000 years will feel themselves being touched the summer day. Who made the world? Who made the swan and the black bear? Who made the grasshopper? This grasshopper, I mean the one who has flung herself out of the grass, the one who's eating sugar out of my hand, who's moving her jaws back and forth instead of up and down, who's gazing around with her enormous and complicated eyes. Now she lifts her pale forearms and thoroughly washes her face. Now she snaps her wings open and floats away. I don't know exactly what a prayer is. I do now know how to pay attention, how to fall down into the grass, how to kneel down in the grass, how to idle and blessed, how to stroll through the fields, which is what I have been doing all day. Tell me, what else should I have done? Doesn't everything die at last and too soon? Tell me what it is you plan to do with your one wild and precious life. Wild geese, you do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes over the prairies and the deep trees and the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese high in the clean blue air are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over, announcing your place in the family of things. What do we know? The sky cleared. I was standing under a tree, and there were stars in the sky, and they were also themselves at the moment, at which moment my right hand was holding my left hand, which was holding the tree, which was filled with stars in the soft rain. Imagine the long and the wondrous journey is still to be ours, messenger. My work is loving the world. Here the sunflowers, there the hummingbird. Equal seekers of sweetness, here the quickenings. Yes, there the blue plums, here the plum clam deep in the speckled sand. And my boots, old is my coat torn. Am I no longer young and still half perfect? Let me keep my mind on what matters, which is my work, which is mostly standing still and learning to be astonished. The phobia, the Deliphium, the sheep in the pasture, and the pasture, which is mostly rejoicing, since all the ingredients are here, which is gratitude to be given a mind and a heart, and these bodily clothes, a mouth with which to give shouts of joy to the mouth and the rain and the sleeping duck up clam, telling them all over and over how it is that we live forever, Toad. I was walking by. He was sitting there. It was full morning, so the heat was heavy on his sand-colored head and his webbed feet. I squatted beside him at the edge of the path. He didn't move. I began to walk. I talked about summer and about time and the pleasures of eating and the terrors of the night, about this cup we call life, about happiness and how good it feels, the heat of the sun between the shoulder blades. He looked neither up nor down, which didn't necessarily mean he was either afraid or asleep. I felt his inertia stored up under his tongue, perhaps, and behind his bulging eyes. I talked about how the world seems to me 5 feet tall in the blue sky all around my head. I said I wondered how it seemed to him down there, and timid with the dust. He might have been Buddha, did not move, blink, or frown, nor a tear fell from those rimmed eyes as the refined anguish of the language passed over him. Me, what lay on the road was no more handful or snake. It was the copper head of Lars golden under the street lamp. I hope to see everything in this world before I die. I knelt on the road and started. Its head was well shaped and fell back to the unexpected slimness of the neck. The body itself was thick, dense, electric. Clearly, this wasn't and black snake looking down from the limbs of the tree, or the green snake, or the garter whizzing from over the rocks. Where these had such shyness, this one had none. When I moved a little, it turned and clamped its eyes on mine. Then it jerked toward me, and I jumped back and watched as it flowed on across the road and down into the dark. My heart was pounding. I stood a while listening to the small sounds of the woods and looking at the stars. After excitement, we are so restful. When the thumb of your lips, we are so alive. The faces of deer. Wait for too long, I don't go deep enough into the woods to see them. They begin to enter my dreams. Yes, there they are in the pine wood of my inner life. I want to live a life full of modesty and praise. Each roof of each animal makes the sign of a heart as it touches, then lifts away from the ground. Unless you believe that heaven isn't very near, how will you find it? Their eyes are pools in which one would be content on any summer afternoon to swim away through the doors of the world, then love and its blessing. Then heaven. What I have learned so far. Meditation is soul and honorable, so why should I not sit every morning in my life on the hillside looking at the shining world, because properly attended to light. To delight as well as have Walker's suggestion, one be passionate about the just, the ideal, the sublime, and the holy, and yet commit to no labor in its cause? I don't think so. All summations have a beginning. All effect has a story. All kindness begins with a sown seed. Thought births toward radiance, the gospel of light in the crossroads of indolence, of action. Be ignited or be gone. Picking blueberries. Once in summer in the blueberries, I fell asleep and awoke. I woke when a deer stumbled against me, I guess. She was so busy with her own happiness, she had grown careless and was just wandering along, listening to the wind as she leaned down to lip up the sweetness. So there we were, with nothing between us but a few leaves and the wind's glossy voice shouting instructions. The deer backed away finally and flung up her white tail and went floating off toward the trees. But the moment before she did that was so wide and so deep, it has lasted to this day. I have only to think of her, the flower of her amazement, and the stalled breath of her curiosity, and even the damp touch of her solicitude before she took flight. To be absent again from the world and alive again in another for 30 years, sleepy and amazed, rising out of the rough weeds, listening and looking. Beautiful girl, where are you? The piece of wind, white things. When despair for the world grows in, and I awake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, and I lie down where the wood crake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of the wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of the still water. I feel above me the day blind stars waiting with her light. For the time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. The hidden singer, the gods are less for their love for praise. Above and below them, all in the spirit that needs nothing but its own wholeness, its health and ours. It has made all things by dividing itself to it will be whole again. To its joy, we come together, the seas and the seen, the eater and the eaten, the lover and the loved. In our joining, it knows itself, it is with us then. Not as the gods whose names crest in unearthly fire, but as a little bird hidden in the leaves, who sings quietly and waits and sings. I go among the trees and sit still. All my stirring becomes quiet around me, all circles on what the task. My tasks lie in their places where I left them asleep with like cattle. And then what is afraid of me comes and lives a while in my side. What if fears in me leaves me, and the fear of me leaves it. It sings and I hear its song. Then what I am afraid of comes. I live for a while in its side. What I fear in it leaves me. It sings and I hear its song. Grace. The wood is shining this morning, red, gold, and green. The leaves lie on the ground or fall or hang full of the light, and the air is still perfect in its rise and in its fall. It takes the place it has been coming into forever. It is not hastened here and lagged. See how surely it has sought itself, its root passing lordly through the earth. See how without the confusion it is all that it is, and how flawless its grace is, running or walking the way in the same be still, the real world. It may be that we no longer know what to do. We have come our real work, and then we no longer know which way to go. We have come to our real journey. The mind that is not baffled or is not employed, the impeded stream is the one that sings the clear days. The dogs of indecision cross the field of the vision. A crowd, buzzing fly, distract the lover's eye until the heart has found its native place of ground. The day withholds its light, the eyes must stray until in the grounds the body brine, who will not be denied. Not until all is given, come the thought of heaven. When the mind's an empty room, the clear days will come. What we need is here, geese appear high over us. Pass and sky closes up as in love or sleep holds them to their way. Clear in the ancient faith that we need is here, and we pray not for new earth or heaven, but to be quiet in the heart and in eye. Clear, what we need is here. Be watchful. As soon as I felt necessity to learn about the non-human world, I wished to learn about it in a hurry, and then I began to learn perhaps the most important lesson that nature has to teach me, that I could not learn about her in a hurry. The most important learning, that of experience, can be either summoned nor sought out. The most earthly, worthy knowledge cannot be acquired by what is known as study, though that is necessary and has its use. It comes in its own good time and its own way to the man who will go where it lives and waits and be ready and watch. Hurry is beside the point and is an obstruction. The thing is to attentively present. To sit and wait is as important as to move. Patience is as valuable as industry. What is to be known is always there. The only condition is your being there and being watchful. Love after love. The time will come, vain with elation, with you will greet yourself arriving at your own door in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Give wine, give bread, come back your heart to itself, to the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. Wow. Beautiful. You reading this, be ready starting here. What do you want to remember? What do you want to remember? How sunlight creeps along a shining floor. What scent of old wood hovers? What softened sound from outside fills the air? Will you ever bring a better gift for the world than the breathing respect that you carry wherever you go right now? Are you waiting for time to show you some better thoughts? When you turn around, starting here, lift this new glimpse that you found. Carry into the evening all that you want from this day. This interval you spent reading or hearing this, keep it for life. What can anyone give you greater than now, starting here, right in this room, when you turn around? Beautiful. Enough, enough. These few words are enough. If not these words, this breath, if not this breath, this sitting here, this opening to the life we have refused again and again until now. Well of grief. Well of grief, those who will not slip beneath the still surface of the well of the grief, turning downward through its black water to the place we cannot breathe, will never know the source from which we drink the secret water cold and clear, nor find in the darkness glimmering the small round coins thrown by those who wished for something else. Swift darkness. When your eyes are tired, the world is tired also. When your visions have gone, no part of the world can find you. Time to go into the dark where the night has eyes to recognize its own. You are. There you can be sure you are not beyond love. The dark will be your warmth tonight. The night will give you a horizon further than you can see. You must learn one thing: the world was made for you. Has made to be free in. The world was made to be free in. Give up all other worlds except the one to which you belong. Sometimes it takes the darkness and the sweet confinement of your aloneness to learn. Anything or anyone that does not bring you alive is too small for you. Beautiful. The old interior angel. One day the hero sits down, afraid to take another step, and the old interior angel limps slowly in with her no-nonsense compassion and her old secret, and goes ahead. Namaste, you know, and follow. Namaste, you say and follow. Stand still. Stand still. The trees before you and the bushes beside you are not lost. Whenever you are in a place called here, and you must treat it as a powerful stranger. You must ask permission to know it and be known. The forest breathes. Listen, it answered, I made this place around you. I will. If you leave it, you may come back again, saying here, no two trees are the same to ravin, no two branches the same to rain. If what a tree or a bush does is lost on you, you're surely lost. Stand still, the forest knows where you are. You must let it find you. Rumi. Stay together, friends. Don't scatter and sleep. Our friendship is made of being awake. The water wheel accepts water and turns and gives it away peeping. That way it stays in the garden, whereas another roundness rolls through a dry riverbed looking for what it thinks it wants. Stay here, quivering with each moment like a drop of mercury. People are distracted by objects of desire, afterward repent on the lust they are indulged, because they have indulged with a phantom and are left ever even farther than reality than before. Your desire for the illusory is a wake by means of which a seeker might ascend to reality. When you have indulged in lust, your wing drops off. You become lame, and that and fantasy flees. Preserve the wing and don't indulge such lust, so that the wing of desire may bear you to paradise. People fancy they are enjoying themselves, but they are really tearing off their wings for the sake of an illusion. Two kinds of intelligence. There are two kinds of intelligence. One acquired as a child in a school, memorize facts and concepts from books and from what the teacher says, collection information and the traditional sciences as well as the new sciences. With such intelligence, you rise in the world. You get ranked ahead or behind others in regard in your competence or retaining information. You stroll with this intelligence in and out of the fields of knowledge, getting always more marks on your persevering tablets. There is another kind of tablet which already completed and preserved inside you, a spring overflowing is spring box, a freshness in the center of the chest. This other intelligence does not turn yellow or stagnant. It's a fluid and it doesn't move from outside to inside through the context of limbic learning. The second knowing is a fountainhead from within you moving out. Something opens our wings. Something makes boredom and hurt disappear. Someone fills the cup in front of us. We taste only sacredness. Your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Brother, stand up and escape the poison of your impulse. The sky will bow to your beauty if you do. Learn to light the candle, rise with the sun, turn away from the cave of your sleeping. That way, thorn expands to a rose, a particular glow with a universal. Be empty of worrying. Think of two created thought. Why do you stay in prison? When the door is so wide open, move outside the tangle of your thinking. Live in silence. Float down and down into always widening rings of being. The agony of lovers burn with the fire of passion. Lovers leave traces of where they have been and wailing of broken hearts in the doorway to God. Let yourself be silently drawn by the stronger pull of what you truly love. Your grief for what you have lost lifts a mirror up to where you are bravely working, expecting the worst. You look, and instead here's the joyful face you have been wanting to see. Your hand opens and closes and opens and closes. If it were always a fist or always stretched open, you would be paralyzed. Your deepest presence is in every small contracting and expanding, the two as beautifully balanced and coordinated as bird wings. Today, like every other day, we wake up empty and scared. Don't open the door of your study and begin reading. Take down a musical instrument. Let the beauty we love be what we do. There are hundreds of ways to kneel and kiss the earth. Everyone is overridden by thought. That's why we have so much heartache and sorrow at times. I give myself up a thought purposefully and vain. I choose I spring from those under his sway. I am like a high-flying bird, and thought of is a gnat. How should the gnat overpower me? The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. You must ask for what you really want. Don't go back to sleep. People are going back and forth across the door sill where the two worlds touch. The door is round and open. Don't go back to sleep. The water seeks the thirsty as earnestly as the thirsty seeks the water. Sometimes I forget completely what companionship is, unconscious and insane. I spill sad energy everywhere. My story gets told in various ways of romance, a joke, a war, a vacancy. Divide up my forgetfulness to any number. It will go around. These dark suggestions will I follow? Are they part of some plan? Friends, be careful. Don't come near me out of curiosity or sympathy. The guest house. This being human is a guest house. Every morning is a new arrival. A joy, a depression, a meanness, a momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out of for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them, and be grateful for whoever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. When I am with you, we stay up all night. When you are not there, I can't get to sleep. Thank God for these two insomnias and the difference between them. Trust your wounds to a teacher's surgery. Flies collect on a wound. They cover it, those flies of your self-protecting feelings, your love for what you think is yours. Let a teacher wave away the flies and put a plaster on the wound. Don't turn your head. Keep looking at the bandaged wound. That's where the light enters you, and don't believe for a moment that you are healing yourself. Wonder, a worshipper, lover of living, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times, come yet again, come. The way of love is not a subtle argument. The deep there is devastation. Birds make great sky circles of their freedom. How do they learn it? They fail, and failing they have given wings. There is some kiss we want with our whole life, the spirit touching the body. See, water begs the pearl to break its shell, and the lily, how patiently it needs some wild daring. At night I open the window and ask the moon to come and press its face against mine. Breathe into me, close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't use the door, only the window. Are you looking for me? I am in the next scene. My shoulder is against yours. You will not find me in the stupas, not in the Indian shrine rooms, nor the synagogues, nor the cathedrals, not in mosques, not cathedrals, not in lakes winding around your own neck, nor in eating nothing but vegetables. When you really look for me, you will see me in the insanity. You will find me in the tiniest house of time. Kabir says, student, tell me what is God. He is the breath inside the breath. Kabir. I say to the wanting creature inside me, what is this river you want to cross? There are no travelers on the river road and no road. Do you see anything moving about on the bank or resting? There is no river at all, or no boat and no boatman. There is no tow rope either and no one to pull. There is no ground, no sky, no time, no bank, no food, and there is nobody and no mind. Do you believe there is some place where you will make the soul less thirsty? In that great absence, you will find nothing. Be strong then and enter your own body. There you have solid place for your feet. Think about it carefully. Don't go off somewhere else. Kabir says this. Just throw away all thoughts of imaginary things and stand firm in that which you are, a place to sit. Don't go outside your house to see flowers, my friend. Don't bother with that excursion. Inside your body there are flowers. One flower has 1,000 petals. That will do for a place to sit. Sitting there, you will have a glimpse of the beauty inside the void and out of it, before the gardens and after gardens. I went searching for the shop where the merchant would say, there is nothing of value here. I found it and stayed. These poems arise out of the richness of not wanting. O mind, you carry on your back your action like a heavy sack. No wonder that your shoulders ache and the strains enough to break your neck. So drop this stupid low. This is the last stop on the road where you can find rest. Stop. Be love's guest. There is nothing but water in the holy pools. I know, I have been swimming in them. All the gods sculpted of woods. And ivory can't say a word. I know I have been crying out to them. The sacred books of the East are nothing but words. I look through their covers one day sideways. What Kabir talks about is only what he has lived through. If you have